is the Big O Show. This 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 is the Big O Show.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
Just one place sold the most Acura models in the last 17 years. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Drive a new 2025 RDX for $19 a month during our 17th anniversary sale.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
It's big. It's gigantic. It's the Toyota of Hollywood Super Sale. Over 2,000 Toyotas from just $17,988. Like a Corolla LE, not $24,000, $17,988. Buy with 0% financing, 0 down. Join the fun and get a super deal at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
Beef Before you buy or lease a Honda, Volkswagen, Hyundai, or any other model, compare Subaru, rated #1 in safety at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Buy with 0.9% financing, 0 down. Forester with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $259 a month. Crosstrek with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $239 a month. During the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, South Florida's #1 volume Subaru retailer.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors, 305-345-3649 or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
Before you buy or lease a Honda, Volkswagen, Hyundai, or any other model, compare Subaru, rated #1 in safety at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Buy with 0.9% financing, 0 down. Forester with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $259 a month. Crosstrek with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $239 a month. During the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, South Florida's #1 volume Subaru retailer.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231. In Plantation, 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help.
Just one place sold the most Acura models in the last 17 years. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Drive a new Acura ZDX, $439 a month during our 17th anniversary sale.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty. Yes, sir. Beautiful Tuesday. July 1st, 2025. Day number 18,754 since the Miami Dolphins lifted the Vince Lombardi Trophy. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. There's a lot of good stuff to talk about, which is cool. It's very cool. It's good to do it. Get some stuff off your chest. We'll talk some Dolphins, a little Heat, Panthers. Wow. Wow and wow. I mean, there's so much to say about this. It's just really crazy. David Furones will join us today on the show. As always, please don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button. Okay? All right. Anyway, and do want to remind you, of course, that we will be at Hialeah Park on Thursday. All right. So that'll be our appearance. We are not at Acura on Friday. So we only have one appearance this week, and that'll be Thursday afternoon at Hialeah Park. By the way, are we good? It looks like audio because you guys would have told me. Sean is not in today. Okay. So I am kind of flying solo here as always. Without Sean, as always, I'm flying solo, is what I meant by. So, since we are flying solo, it looks like there's no complaints about the audio, so it's all good. Don't forget, you can make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. You can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, or Chainlink donation. As always, you can use the QR codes there. We always appreciate that. As you all know, we are going to Spain to see the Miami Dolphins take on the Washington Commanders. And hopefully the boys can put up a fight in that one. You can make a donation. We do have a GoFundMe page. There is the QR code for that. But of course, most people are sending it through Cash App or Venmo, and they just say, hey, it's for the trip and all that stuff. But however you want to support us, we appreciate that immensely, as always. Thank you, thank you, thank you all out there. Don't forget, Welton Rayom, proud sponsors of our program, 954-966-4646. And for you Panther fans, you're excited right now. You're pumped. Your team is kicking some ass. Get that Panther gear. Go to Caneswear. Use our code BIGO10. You will get 10% off any Dolphins gear, Marlins gear, Panthers gear, Canes gear. God, they've got everything with the Canes logo on it. I'm actually getting more excited about the Canes season. Today on the show, we will talk to David Furones. We got a little more clarity on the whole trade thing. So we'll talk about that, and I'll kind of put a bow on it because I talked about it yesterday in general, but I'm going to kind of put a bow on that. I also want to tell you about a tight end the Dolphins could be interested in, should be interested in, might become a Miami Dolphin. You never know. I mean, I'm just going to throw it out there. What do I know? So we'll talk about that. We got some stuff. We got some stuff to talk about. So it's good. It's good. It's good. Morning, Emmanuel Acho, Dolphins Talk. I saw the interview that Melissa had, and some of that stuff. I could agree with some of the Tua stuff, the Mike McDaniel stuff. I probably didn't agree with, of course, but it is what it is. What are you going to do? Listen, we got a lot of things to talk about, okay? And we'll have some fun on the show. First of all, the amazing part is Bill Zito has taken the mantle in South Florida as the best. Better than Shula. Better than Riley. I'm not talking about coaching. I'm not talking about coaching.
because that's not what Bill Zito is, right? He's general manager. Pat Riley's a general manager. Don Shula was the general manager. He was always the man that had final say, even back in the 70s when he had personnel people that knew what they were doing. After that, it was obviously very questionable, but he had all the say. He was the man, right? So they get to build the team however they want. Do you realize that with the deal that happened here this offseason, okay, Bill Zito is etched in stone better than Riley and better than Shula. And I'm going to explain why Bill Zito kicks Don Shula's ass. He kicks Pat Riley's ass. That's how bad it is. Okay. So remember, the good thing about watching and listening to this show compared to a bunch of others is that most of them have to go study and they have to go actually maybe look it up or something or read about it. I actually have lived it all. It's pretty good. It's pretty good to live most everything. It's pretty good to live the history of the South Florida sports. So Don Shula wins a couple of Super Bowls. He's on a roll. But the World Football League is developing. He has a problem keeping his team together. Zonka, Warfield, Kick. They decided, I'm winning, but it's not good enough. I want more. I want to get out of here. I'm out of here. And we all know that ruined everything for Miami. That took them completely off kilter. Yeah. You take Zonka and Warfield out of an offense. It's just like, you can't do that, bro. You just can't do that. You can't do that, So it ruined the Dolphins. Don Shula couldn't keep it together. He didn't have the magic. You know where I'm going now, don't you? So Pat Riley wins a couple championships, 4 trips, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. Couldn't keep it together. LeBron James told them, get out of here. In fact, LeBron James, and this is how embarrassing the whole situation with Riley is, because this is how overbloated we've made the whole Riley thing. He's great, but not as great as we've made him out to be. Godfather, rings, they're all coming here. Bullshit. Bosh and LeBron, they could have come straight up here to play with Dwayne Wade. No, they told Riley, no, you have to trade for us because we want our bird rights. We want our money. So the Heat had to give up first-round picks to acquire LeBron and Bosh, which LeBron and Bosh just weakened the team they just joined by forcing them to do that. Does Riley have any power? No, they want their money. Fuck Riley. Sorry, but that's the deal. And then you win your championships. Do you think they're grateful to Riley and everything else? No. LeBron sees Dwayne Wade, his buddy's getting old. He's getting the hell out of there. He doesn't even lying that, on the plane, Wade says, I don't even know what he was going to do on the plane. Bullshit, whatever. And when Riley went to meet him, LeBron dissed him, bro. And he made him get Sabaz Napier, and he made Riley call him like, hey, I've got Danny Granger and Bob for you, dude. Come on, come back to me. And he dumped him right there at the altar. So Shula and Riley are failures in continuing the culture. Isn't it interesting? Riley and Shula didn't ever create a culture. Now Bill Zito has. These guys won their championships. All of them could have left. They could have left 3 years ago, 2 years ago, and this year. And none of them leave. And they all stay, and they all stay for less. Did you see the salaries that everyone else is signing for? When I saw that, I'm like, holy shit. These people are taking serious pay cuts. All of them. Bill Zito has done what Riley could never do, what Shula could never do. He can't control the mercenaries. Can the Dolphins control the mercenaries? No, they can't. They just pay the mercenaries and then they leave. The Heat pay the mercenaries and then they leave. Bro, Bosch was signing with Houston for less money. And when they convinced them to come back, for the blood clot years, Bosch told them, oh, yeah, no, I'll come back, but you got to give me the max. Forgive the French. The fucking team that gave him the 2 titles, he's telling Riley, no, I'm not going back to you. Well, I'll go back if you give me $128 million because, Houston's only paying me 98. But if you pay me 120, I think that's the number. I might be off by a couple of million or whatever. But think about that. Bill Zito has created the environment, brought the coach, all the players, made the moves, selected the right stars because they're not mercenaries, dude. Riley finds mercenaries. The Dolphins find mercenaries. These Panthers, they find family. They actually find people that want to be here, guys that want to play with each other. They want this. They want to make history. Riley threatens LeBron with, you can leave out the door the first moment it gets tough, and none of that ever happens with the Panthers. They play tougher than any Riley team does. They're tougher than any Riley team has ever been. Got to admit that. And they are truly dedicated to the team. Congratulations to Bill Zito, my brother, because what he did, you guys know, I thought maybe 2 of the 3 I thought they would get. And I thought Ekblad would be the guy out. And Ekblad took a haircut. Marshawn took a haircut. Dude, this guy Marner got $12 million a year. That's Bennett money. He got 8. I might want Bennett over Marner. When I look at what Bennett does on defense, are you effing kidding me? He'll knock your blank into your sock. So this is like super special, what is happening here. I've been around a while. I've never seen anybody do this. I've never seen a general manager create an environment that players truly want to be a part of, not being paid to be a part of. Because Paul Warfield said, screw the Dolphins. I want to get paid. I don't care about winning another Super Bowl with them. I'm out of here. Zonka told Shula and the Dolphins, out of here, dude. I'm going to go get my money. This culture ain't shit for me, dude. I'm out of here. Not these guys, dude. No, not Verhage. Not Reinhardt. Not Barkov. No, not Kachuk. No. They all want to be here, dude. They all want to be here. I read somewhere where they're going to have like 30 million in cap space next year. I'm like, how do you do all of what? What? How's this? What? You got all these guys signed. You got the heart of your team signed for years to come. And you're going to have 30 more million next year. Like, really? Okay, let's go. Let's bring it on, dude. This is special. This is hard to do. All they want, you can't blame them. They want to make their money. You want to make your money. I want to make my money. Everybody wants to. God bless you, dude, if you got to make your money. I totally get it. I totally understand. That's impressive. That you create an environment in the age of free agency. I don't have words for this, to be quite honest. I don't have words for this. What Zito has done. Because Riley got laughed at. Got insulted by everybody there. He couldn't keep all that together. He didn't know. He screwed it all up. Shula couldn't keep it together. And money wasn't infiltrating sports like it is nowadays in the 70s. You had a better chance of trying to gun-ho, keep it for the fellas and all that. And Zonka and Warfield said, screw you, Shula. Meanwhile, Bill Zito, Vinny Viola, and Doug Sifu, obviously Paul Maurice, they have created an environment that people will sacrifice to be a part of. So I'm just telling you, as a fan, you need to appreciate this more than anything you've ever experienced, because this doesn't exist. This is pure fantasy right here. We're living in pure fantasy. The reality is what happened to Shula and Riley. What we're seeing now, this is the aberration. What happened to Shula and Riley is what normally happens. The greed takes over, feelings get hurt, emotions run wild. You have your peaks and your valleys, and and things end always ugly or weird or whatever. For this thing, for all these guys the last 3 years, they keep hitting free agency, and every one of these stars comes back and signs. And to get all three, dude, wow. Just wow. Really. And that to me is what stands out amongst all of this. So, it's just one of those things that when you look at this run, you go to 3 straight, you win 2 straight, you're going to be the favorites. Guaranteed you're going to be the favorites. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And somehow or another, your team is more than willing to get it done. That is, like, they want this. They want to be together. They want to win. They want to make history. They want to now they're all motivated for the three-peat. If that's not a Moody's Dental clean sheet by none other than Bill Zito, I don't know what is.
This clean segment is brought to you by Moody's Dental.
Invisalign, dental implants, preventative care, or cosmetic surgery. When it comes to keeping a clean and beautiful smile, get your smile back with our friends at Moody's Dental. Call for an appointment in Hialeah, 305-821-0231. In Plantation, 954-692-6825. Get your smile back at Moody's Dental. Visit them on Instagram at moodys.dental.
Telling you, that is a clean sheet right there. Oh, by the way, Not only did they sign Ekblad to an 8-year, $6.1 million per year deal, not only did they sign Brad Marchand to a 6-year, $32 million deal, keeping Bennett, Ekblad, and Marchand. Today, they announced they brought back Thomas Nosek. So the defenseman comes back. I think it was Tim Reynolds that reported yesterday that they were close on Ekblad and Nosek. So Nosek signs for $775,000. Now, Nate Schmidt will hit free agency. But are you really concerned about that? Like, they'll have a slew of other guys that will take a minimum type deal like that and play for the Cats with no problem. So it's impressive, dude. It's impressive to see what they're doing. All right. Don't forget, folks, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. You can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation, which we always appreciate that. And I'm wondering when we get that bill passed, I think things are going to pump like Hans and Franz. They're here to pump you up. We are at 107 right now. So we've kind of been stuck there at 107. The Dow is up 200. When this bill passes, because it'll pass. Of course it's going to pass. Give me a break. They'll pass, and then they'll start printing like crazy. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. By the way, I got to thank one of our listeners and supporters of the program, one of our loyal, big-time supporters, because, he goes back and forth with me all the time. He's fantastic, and he brought something to my attention. Marc Jean Baptiste. He put, "You were always right when it comes to this." And this is funny. So you guys I tell you always, right? These parties are a joke. Okay? So, because when I say something bad about a Republican, we get the Trumpies all bent out of shape like little bitches. And then if I say something bad about Biden, like I read Biden yelling, Powell, and who's the other? Warren, that dumbass, all last year, and so some Dems get all bent out of shape. So don't I tell you that stop picking sides because they're both clown shows? Don't I tell you that one president prints more than the next and it doesn't matter? So they sent me this graph. And as you can see, Ronald Reagan from 81 to 88, he prints more than Jimmy Carter from 77 to 80. And then George W. Bush takes over from Reagan and prints more than he does. And then Bill Clinton takes over George Bush and he prints more than he does. And then George W. Bush takes over and prints more than Clinton. And then Barack Obama starts printing more than George W. Bush. And then the Trumpster prints more than, of course, the Obama man. And then Biden's dumbass prints more than Trump. And they already approved $2.2 trillion in March. And there's a $5 trillion increase in this new budget for it. So remember I told you it was 10, right? The last two presidents, it's been 7.8 and 8.2. Trump was 7.8, Biden's 8.2. And I told you, whoever's president, whatever side, I told you the number was 10 trillion. Just, not only do I tell you no bullshit every damn time, because I don't care. I'm a Bitcoiner. I don't care about either side. Both of them are going to pump us to kingdom come because all they do is print. And so it's inevitable where we're going. They only know how to do. And look, after talking, he said he would balance the budget. There's no balancing the budget, and he's printing like crazy. 7.2 trillion. Already. We haven't even started. We haven't completed the first year yet. What do you think happens in like 2 years? More money. Although it'll be harder because by then they'll lose some seats in the midterms probably if things don't go well and all that. But just don't follow for this party bullshit. They're all a disaster, and they will all destroy our dollar. Every single one of them will destroy our dollar. Every single one. It's just like amazing. It's clockwork. Thank you. Thank you for sending me that. I mean, I knew it already because I tell you guys this all the time. It doesn't matter what party it is. The next one will print more than the other one, and the other one, and the other one, and the other one, and the other one. It's just you idiots out there sit there like cheerleaders rooting for your stupid sides, thinking like they actually give a shit about you. But this is what they're going to pump up, man. This is what they're going to blow to kingdom come because the dollar is going to get devalued. But hey, man, what can I tell you? What do we have here on the chat board? Jay Gelfin in the house. Bill Zito. Yeah, Bill Zito is the GM of the year, the greatest GM in South Florida history. It's not even close anymore. Dolphin Davis. Don Shula had a cheap owner and new football league come in the 70s, or he might have won. I don't want to hear about this, that, whatever. Bro, he had also in the 80s and constantly screwed up. Would you like to talk about all the people he screwed up with? The Sammy Smith pick, Jay Brophy, Eric Kumaro, trading trading Anthony Carter for Robin Sendline. Dude, Shula was his own worst enemy. Dolphin Dave, don't make excuses, dude. Shula was phenomenal in his time in the 70s when he had personnel and he had coaching. Once he lost Young, Beathard, and Thomas, my brother, Don Shula was dog shit. He was a great coach, but dog shit in personnel. And let's be honest, Dolphin Dave, if it isn't for all the interceptions that Marino threw his senior year and the cocaine rumor, we got lucky, bro, that he was a 6th quarterback. Please, I love Don Shula, but I don't make excuses here. I call shit like it is. Don Shula was a fucking disaster, dude. A disaster. And he either got lucky in his personnel or he was terrible. So when he made a pick that worked out, he got lucky. But more often than not, most of his moves sucked. So Don Shula was his own worst enemy, dude. Once he lost personnel people. And he ruined Dan Marino's era. Ruined it completely. Couldn't build a damn line and a running game, dude. And a defense if his life depended on it. They could do it in the 70s when they had personnel. So, yeah, I'm not doing that, dude. I'm not doing that. We're going to call it like it is, okay? And Don Shula was a freaking disaster. Clown show when it came to personnel, dude. All right? Jamie Zorria in the house. TJ Superman. Canadian hockey fans are pissed. That's their damn problem. Edward Thurston Howe. Jeff in Long Island. NorCal is twisting one. Big Johnson. Cosa Nostra. Buenos dias, ensalada deportiva. Oscar Rojas is smashing it. Alexis Palenzuela. Oscar says he had faith in Zito that he would sign all 3. That is awesome. Stephen Harris. Thank you, sir. Welcome back, Fitzpatrick. Sucks to lose Jonnu Smith. I wonder who the Dolphins have to replace him. I will tell you. Brian Radke. Gus 1388. Giovanni. T. Jones, One-Eyed Jack. Yeah, Greer won that trade big time. The Steelers did the Dolphins a huge favor, dude. John Padilla's in San Francisco. Horn Dog, Sweet Baby Ray is smashing it. Thank you, sir. Let's see. Roderick Freeman. The NHL needs to give Bill Zito GM of the year already. Yeah, it's nuts, right? Lisa Rose, Alexis Palenzuela, Horn Dog, TJ, tight end Mabry of the Raiders or likely from the Ravens. Yeah, that's the bullshit that's out there. First of all, there's no way the Ravens trade likely, so that's not going to happen. And I don't want Mark Andrews. Okay, we already talked about this yesterday. You may not have been listening. Michael Mayer, right? Michael Mayer, not Mabry. Michael Mayer is the guy that is that Omar that's put it out there? Okay. Michael Mayer is nothing. Okay. Nothing. Nothing impressive. So 21 catches, 156 yards, 7.4 yards per catch, no touchdowns, a blocker, a so-so pass catcher. I've heard the name before, but that's kind of more of a backup. Yeah, that to me is not the answer, but I will have the answer for you. I will have the answer. I'm supposed to get Furones now. So I'm wondering, I don't want to get into my nugget until we're done with Furones. But I'll tell you that Mayer is that's not it's not the guy that I would acquire. You know what I mean? If you do that, you're really not acquiring much. Let's put it that way. But I have a much better name for you. And we'll do it, I think, after Furones, because Furones is coming right now, and rather, do my thing. Let's do it. David Furones is ready to go. We're going to talk a little Miami Dolphins football with the one and only David Furones. All I got to do is find the Welt and Rayom intro for him. Remember, I am solo, so here we go. Where are we? This is always good. There we go.
All rise, football fans, as the Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins report with David Furones is in session.
Welt and Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Furones.
Alrighty. ¿Cómo estás, chico?
Doing well, and great job getting that intro up on your own, man.
Yeah, Sean's not here today.
Yeah, I see that. So, man, impressive. Two jobs at once.
I am. I'm running the show myself and everything, so I'm trying. I'm trying.
Showing your versatility,
folks. We are in hurricane season, so make sure you save Jeff and Dan's number down, because if something happens, you're going to need adjusters. You don't ever call the insurance company. Ever. You call Welt and Rayom first. They send their adjusters. They do their job, and then they attack the insurance company for you, so you never have to deal with it. 954-966-4646. And I know a lot of people are dealing with bankruptcy issues. Credit card debt is at an all-time high for our country, so it can happen to any of us. 954-966-4646. All right, doggy. I thought the Steelers did the Dolphins an enormous favor yesterday. Your thoughts on that trade?
Yeah, there's two ways to look at it. Is one, if you just look at it on paper and you say, okay, compare Jalen Ramsey plus Jonnu Smith to Minkah Fitzpatrick and the pick swap, then yeah, you could look at it one way, which I know my colleague Dave Hyde said he looked at it in a negative fashion. But what but it's different because you already knew you had to get rid of Jalen Ramsey. So, and you already knew you were in a tough spot. And we talked about it was actually months, that the Dolphins were in a precarious situation where you figured they weren't going to get much, or they had to have the team that they send Jalen Ramsey to, where they had to pony up a lot of the cash in order to send him there and maybe still get like the pick that they ended up getting, like a 5th rounder or something, while still giving up some of that salary.
I'm just wondering, why did I didn't read it? Why did Dave Hyde take a negative slant on it? I'm trying to figure this out. Is he trying to say that the Dolphins aren't a better team?
Right, not a better team with Jalen Ramsey gone. But I think you have to put yourself in the mindset of Jalen Ramsey was already gone. Yeah, that was already.
So wait a minute. I'm sorry. Does Dave Hyde think the Dolphins were making noise anyway, one way or the other? I'm sorry. What reality does Dave Hyde live in? I'd like to fucking know that one, really, because who gives a shit, dude? They unloaded a disgruntled player you could not bring back that was overpaid in Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah.
The agent made a horrible deal, so he had to get out of this bad tight end contract that Chris Greer made a beautiful deal, and he was in total control, but he doesn't know who the offensive coordinator is going to be next year. So why is he going to pay him $12 million? So if the stupid ass Steelers want to pay him $12 million in a year that Rodgers is not there, think about that one, by the way. I want you to think about that one. And then you get a 5th rounder for a 7th rounder. You're not going anywhere this year. So for the future, you have now improved a 4th rounder to a 3rd. You now switched a 7th rounder to a 5th. Okay? You unloaded bad salaries. You're saving $6 million. I'm not sure what fantasy land Dave Hyde lives in, but the Dolphins were going nowhere before this trade, and they're going nowhere after this trade. But for the future, this is a beautiful trade, dude. It's a genius trade to make a really bad situation, oh my God, so palatable. It's amazing. This was an awesome trade out of a terrible situation. Dave Hyde might be trying to create sensationalism here, because to say, well, the Dolphins aren't as good a team. Bro, the Dolphins suck anyways. What the hell are you talking about? They're not going anywhere. They're not going to the playoffs. So who gives a shit whether they have Jalen Ramsey or not? So sorry to vent, but just kind of find it ridiculous. Ball's in your court.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I was even going to pose. I was even going to pose a question to you. You do not now feel like the Dolphins can make some noise in 2025? But you answered it right there. So
you have not been paying attention for months now. I've already said this season is done, dude.
Yeah, right.
I've already told you this season is a transition year. This is about the charade of going through firing Mike McDaniel, because they can't fire him now and look completely stupid because they gave him a brand new contract. They realize they already screwed up, but it's after the fact. So we're going through the charade of this season. And the way they've handled the offseason and free agency and everything else, it's like he's staying and McDaniel's gone, bro. Okay? Because think about it. Okay, let me ask you something. This team's going nowhere. So you're going to end up with 7 wins, 8 wins. Maybe you have a great year. You end up with 9 and you don't get into the playoffs, or you barely get in, you get embarrassed, whatever. So you're going to have the balls to turn around and say, we're coming back with Mike McDaniel next year because, we wanted to take a step back salary-wise, adjust everything, and then we could go forward next year because we'll have cap space and all that kind of stuff. Do you think that can sell to the public after another year of shortcomings with Mike McDaniel? Of course not. They know that. So we're going through the charade of waiting for him to get fired at some point this season. That's what's happening. By the way, buddy, didn't I tell you that the season was over when the Colts game and the loss was there, and then you kept with the hopium, and so did everybody else, and I kind of told you it was over. Didn't I say that? And by the way, I also said that the Heat weren't going anywhere this year either, and they didn't go anywhere this year. And by the way, they're going nowhere next year too. We could just talk. I'm just willing to be honest where a lot of you aren't willing to be honest because you can't. Because you can't really be honest. Like, you can't be honest that Drew Rosenhaus fucked up the Jonnu Smith deal. And the problem for the Dolphins, it wasn't a Dolphins problem, dude. It was a dumb agent that made a bad deal that created a problem for his client. The Dolphins did nothing except, bro, they made a great deal. Nobody looks at it that way. That's the way it's supposed to be told. The Dolphins did an exceptional job with Jonnu Smith. They got a bargain. They just had to pay a price because the agent was really stupid, and they got him and they schooled his ass. And so now he had to go justify it for his client and go find $12 million. That's the real story here. Nobody tells the real story about what it really happened. This was a complete Drew Rosenhaus fuck up that he's trying to make up. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, dude, Dolphins aren't going anywhere before or after this deal. Tell Dave Hyde that too. And by the way, if Hyde thinks they're going somewhere before or after, whatever, if he wants to put any money on it, I'd love to take his money because that would be the easiest money I can take. You know, seriously. Like, do you really think the Dolphins are going somewhere, dude? Really?
I'm steadfast in saying I think it's like a situation where they have a playoff scenario week 18 and probably need some help that they don't get or lose that game, and they
or if they get in
around 500, 9-8, 8-9, one of those.
Or if they get in, what? Or if they get in, what?
If they get in, it's as a 6 or 7 seed going on the road and losing somewhere.
Right. Another Dolphin season, bro.
Right.
Another Dolphin season. That's all. You know what I mean? You just know it. And so if that happens, how do you have the balls to come back with Mike McDaniel? You don't.
You wouldn't. You definitely would not in another season of missing the playoffs.
And then happens. The season expires and Weaver interviews, but Weaver has the power to go wherever he wants at that point. That's why you fire him during the season, give him the interim job, and then by the end of the interim job at the end of the year, if you're convinced, have that extension before the season expires, and he'll take that guaranteed money right there and then.
But the way I see the season playing out is that it's not going to be like early in the year, mid-year, not like last season where like you could see it's already kind of over. You called it at the Colts game. I was saying, well, Tua's just now going to be coming back. It's still early. Let's see. But then they lost that Arizona game at home. And that's when I was kind of like on with you, like, yeah, bro, because they're not going to win against Buffalo. And then you're talking about, well, they were 2-6 at that point. So we knew what it was then. I see this season playing out the other way, where I think they get off to a strong start. I think they have a strong first half, and then it's the typical of Dolphins of old collapse. I don't know if you'll call it a collapse, but there will be worse in the second half, and then they'll fall back into the spot of now you're just trying to scratch and claw for the last playoff spot, and then they'll end up just out of it. That's how I see next season playing out. So it might not be a situation where it's clear early on. All right. See, this season's over and we're out with Mike McDaniel. I think that wouldn't happen until the end of the year.
And so do you give the Dolphins a win in this trade?
Yeah. So at end of the day, I would say the Dolphins get a win because when we previously were thinking about both the Jalen Ramsey situation and the Jonnu Smith situation individually, let's say, we would have thought, okay, so Jalen Ramsey, they're going to have to pay up so maybe like a third of it, let's say, and get a 5th round pick or something. So they ended up much better than that. Jonnu Smith, for his contract, considering that a team would then also have to increase his salary, give him the pay that he wants as a now incumbent Pro Bowler from last season, coming off the season he had. And you probably expected a similar draft pick, a day 3 draft pick for him. So you ended up in return netting a Minkah Fitzpatrick and bringing him back, where actually as a DB different, he's play safety, and Jalen Ramsey was on the boundary. I don't know how the Steelers will use him over there, but there's a lot of ways that you can. He's so versatile, but you get a little bit younger there in the secondary with your top DB. Now he's 28, 5-time Pro Bowler. I know a lot of people talk about last season. He maybe a little bit on the downfall. Still was a Pro Bowler. Sometimes the voting can be like a career achievement award. I know like Xavier Howard got one like that. Jalen Ramsey with the Dolphins got a Pro Bowl selection like that, where he didn't really have a Pro Bowl season, but just based off his name, he might still get it. So I understand that part of it, but still a player who maybe even fits better into Anthony Weaver's scheme than he did a little bit at the end in Pittsburgh there. And you get him back. Yeah. So you had high hopes for him when the Dolphins drafted him in the first round. He proved himself, especially early on in Pittsburgh, to be that guy. And then he can kind of rekindle that here in Miami, as he still has some prime years left.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. What did you read into the $1.5 million they gave him? Because I know what that was, but just out of curiosity.
Oh, for Jalen Ramsey, the Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
$1.5 million? Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what you're getting to here. I mean,
you know that wasn't a raise. That's moving expenses.
Moving expenses. Okay, yeah, I see that. Mm-hmm.
That's what that is. It's a new house. It's moving the kids. It's moving the wife. It's all that stuff. That $1.5 million is moving expenses.
Difference in taxes.
Rent a house, more, all that kind of stuff for the year or two that you're going to be there, because he won't buy a house there. He'll rent a house there. So that $1.5 million is the moving expenses. Is what it is. So that way his client doesn't lose anything. He doesn't lose from his money having to move to Pittsburgh, move the kids, schooling, whatever. If he wants to do all of that, there's going to be expenses. So if you would have made a straight up trade, it would have cost him money, because he's going to Pennsylvania where it's different than here. And then he's got to have expenses. So a lot of people think, oh, he got a raise. No, he didn't really. It's the $1.5 million is to cover the moving expenses.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, that's the business move of, oh, no, yeah, I'd love to play for you guys. Yeah, but wait a minute. I'm not going to lose money in the moving here. I don't want to lose my salary. And so then the Steelers had to accommodate and give him $1.5 million. And that's basically moving expenses.
And not a lot of teams are going to do that in a trade, right? Like you don't hear about just any random player getting a little bit extra because he's being traded and has moving expenses. But Jalen Ramsey, boy,
I'm not going to tell you that.
That's what he wants.
But it's just like a raise. But that's really what that money's for, actually.
Yeah.
It's really what it's for, because you that's the part we never look. We never look at how these people have to upend their families and everything. Right. All of a sudden, dude, you got to get car insurance there. Now you got to get a rent there, and you've got to maybe put the kids in school, and you've got to, expenses. It comes with it, and they live a different lifestyle than you and I. So it might be only a couple. Like I remember when I left Deportes Byline Americas in San Francisco, Sports Byline USA, but they did a Spanish version of it, and I went to do a nationally syndicated show there. They paid my moving expenses to and fro. And I remember it was $5,000 one way and $6,000 the other. Okay. So, but that's just me. That's just
right.
So 6,000 back in
you're not making $1 million move.
He's coming for me in 97, by the way. So yeah, it was good. It covered the beacons and it covered, all the shit that I had to move or whatever, And so yeah, that kind of helped out, but that's what that 1.5 million is. It's not really it's not really like a pay raise or anything. It's just really that these are expenses for them.
Yeah.
It's crazy. crazy.
Yeah, even in my life. I mean, now I've stayed with the Sun Sentinel now. It's been more than 9 years. I'll be going on 10. I'll be going on a full decade with the Sun Sentinel soon. But when I've been in talks with, let's say, another news organization that's elsewhere, then that would come up is how they would cover some moving expenses. But like you, it would only be a few $1,000s.
Yeah.
It's not 1.5 million or whatever for Jalen Ramsey, who's
by the way, the $5-6 covered my moving expenses, so
nice.
It's fine. It's fine. But I'm a normal human being like you, like everybody else. These people live at another level, bro.
Oh yeah, right. That now Jalen Ramsey isn't the one that's going to be like maybe how you might see a prototypical athlete, star athlete, like going out partying all the time, spending money at clubs and bars. I don't see him as that. He's a family man, sticks to his daughters and all that, raising them and things like that. So I don't see him like living that kind of like lavish lifestyle. Now, of course, you want a nice home. Moving expenses.
You got to move your kids.
Yeah.
You got to put them in school. You got to pay for the rent, all that shit. The Steelers are paying for all that shit. That's what that 1.5 million covers.
Yeah,
while they're there.
That part's interesting right there. And Jalen Ramsey, he always gets what he wants. He gets appeased with the new contract 1 year into the Dolphins. The year before he got the trade. Multiple times he's gotten the trade that he wants. When it was from Jacksonville to the Rams, from the Rams to the Dolphins, and then he seems very happy with this move to Pittsburgh. Even though I know going back to LA was kind of like a big thing for him if that were to develop, but the Pittsburgh ended up being the ones to come through with the best deal. So credit to his agent, David Mulugheta, because it seems like anything Jalen Ramsey wants, he gets. He gets this trade now with moving expenses covered, just a year after getting that new deal. So every year he gets what he wants.
Yep, he does. All right. So the word is they're out looking for a tight end. You hear anything?
Yeah, they could. I mean, I know a lot of fans want to prop up the Kyle Pitts name. I'm not sure how much of a fit he would be, but I will say tight ends coach John Ember, he does like the in-house candidates. And I remember from Mike McDaniel's answer, which I brought back yesterday in a reaction to this trade, that he doesn't necessarily feel like it needs to be a pass-catching tight end, quote unquote, that needs to be the guy to take the pressure off of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. So, sure, it's a hole that a perceived hole that could be filled with another move. I think they like how I know fans hate to hear this, but they like bringing up Julian Hill and developing him. They like what Tanner Connor has done. He had an orange jersey during either OTAs or minicamp. Now, like, my mind is just like meshed them all together. But one of the practice days, he had an orange jersey, so he's been making strides. And they have Pharaoh Brown as more of like a inline blocking tight end, but that they could use for some of that stuff. Not to mention, Nick Westbrook-Akine will do a lot of the pass catching stuff as a bigger target, just labeled a wide receiver instead of a tight end. So Mike McDaniel said it could come from any of the 5 eligibles. So it doesn't need to be, it's got to be the tight end that does this. It could be the third receiver with the addition of NWI. It could be
Pelissero says they're looking for one. So what do you know about free agency? Anything out there? Or not free agency. There's nothing in free agency. What do you know about a move at all?
Yeah, nothing yet. It's early. So it would be, another subsequent move. Chris Greer is always wheeling and dealing. So now you create that one hole, you could fill it on the back end with another tight end coming in. Not to mention also cornerback. Now you finally can make a move on your free agent cornerback that's been like that checklist item that's just been pending there for so long, where now you got the Jalen Ramsey trade situation done. It's a 2-for-1 where you also crossed off the Jonnu Smith situation. You found the resolution there. And now, whether it's a Rasul Douglas, whether it's a Asante Samuel Jr., you can go and make your veteran cornerback move with that free agent cornerback market that's kind of remained attainable, like unlike most other positions where a lot of the top guys are now off the market.
You got an opinion on Michael Mayer that Omar threw out there? He's just a guy. He blocks. He's not a great catcher.
Yeah. I mean, he was definitely such a name coming out of the draft, but maybe hasn't lived up to that hype. But obviously, with not nearly to the level of Brock Bowers, what he's done there. So I could see it where then you find out later. Yes, Mike McDaniel was saying how he was a guy that when he was coming out in the draft, that they had their eyes all over him, and he knew he could do something with him. So I could totally see that. If I know he's been one of the names thrown out, but yeah, I could see it.
Pitt with Atlanta.
Yeah, I know he's the other name that everyone wants to throw in there, but and the Dolphins could have just had him in that draft too. But yeah, I'm not sure of the fit, but you could kind of like bring him back if you had him play like that Jonnu Smith role where what we just saw Jonnu Smith do. So you could kind of raise him back to that caliber if you brought him to Miami and ran the system the same way. We opened up a lot of things for Jonnu. Do that for Kyle Pitts.
I personally want nothing to do with Mark Andrews, especially at his salary at this point of his career and coming back from injuries and that big drop he had on top of all of that. And then, I know they've already asked me about Isaiah Likely. That's ridiculous. There's no chance that Baltimore is trading Isaiah Likely. So that's really a ridiculous thing out there. I don't think either one flies, but your thoughts on those?
On Mark Andrews or Isaiah Likely? Yeah, Andrews, big contract, so I wouldn't see them doing all that. That would be more of a move of as you're saying, hey, this Dolphin season is done. I don't think they see it quite that way, but I don't think they're in a huge spending sort of frame of mind. They're still trying to compete, but not. That'll be more of like an all-in move, I would say. And Isaiah Likely, I would just find it unlikely, based just because I feel like for the Ravens, he would be that tight end of the future. They brought him in for a reason, and I think he's got good chemistry with Lamar Jackson there. So I wouldn't quite see that one playing out.
All right. What do you got working on in the Sun Sentinel so folks can check you out?
Yeah, I think just following up on this big trade. So now playing it forward, what's next for the Dolphins, and then we'll do. We haven't been up, myself and Chris Perkins, on our Dolphins deep dive in the off season podcast, taking a little break for the slow times, but we got to definitely have an emergency pod, as the kids say, for reaction to this, and we're in talks about it. I think it might be tomorrow. I think that might be what we're doing. No final word on that yet, but check it out.
Follow him on Twitter at David Furones _, and you can catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. And make sure you tell Dave Hyde that the Dolphins weren't going anywhere, bro. Not to get too bent out of shape out of all of this, bro. They dumped a lot of salary, and that was really good for them, and they got a pick for the future. 2025 ain't shit, bro. Tell them to chill out, okay? Tell them it's just another Dolphin season one way or another.
Yeah.
Much love, brother.
All right.
We'll catch up on Friday.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with David Furones. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
It's cute to get all worked up and write a little column there, or get on your mic and your show and act like you're, oh my God, the Dolphins are not as good a football team as they were yesterday with Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith, and only now with Minka. Yeah, maybe you're right. But were they going anywhere with those guys? Or no, they're not going anywhere. So what's the big emotional reaction? Like your season's lost or something? It was never found. Silliness, sensationalism for no reason at all. Let's just keep it level-headed. This team's not good enough right now. It's just the way it is. It's not deep enough right now. And your coach is not even close and ready to handle a situation like this where he can elevate everybody. What the fuck are we talking about, dude? It's like the most ridiculous shit to get all bent out of shape thinking that this was going to be the end-all be-all of your season one way or another. In fact, this is a super positive move for the future moving forward, because now you get rid of a pain in the ass in Jalen Ramsey that was severely overpaid, and you only had to pay $3 million to get rid of him. That's not bad, actually. I thought you were going to pay a lot more and get a lot less in return. And you ended up getting a younger safety that you can use like a Swiss Army knife all over the place with a young secondary. He loves to move around, Minka. He hates to be stationary. He likes to be moving around. Well, guess what? With this secondary, you need a player like Minka. More than you need a player like Ramsey. But of course, well, why take the football part into account? Anyway, either way, you're not going anywhere. I don't believe you're making the playoffs with or without Ramsey. So to make a big stink and say, oh my God, the team is not as good or whatever, oh, give me a break, dude. Team's better off for the future. That's all I know. That's all I know. You added an extra third and a fifth rounder for next year. Let's do it, baby. Let's do it. Love it. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right. So do want to remind you, of course, Subaru of Pembroke Pines, you can get $500 off when you mention our name there at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. By the way, they've got a large selection of Crosstreks right now going on. Adventure Ready, City Smart. The 2025 Crosstrek features standard symmetrical, all-wheel drive, elevated ground clearance, and advanced safety technology, all wrapped in bold, compact SUV styling. Whether you're navigating South Florida summer rain or heading out on a sunny road trip, the Crosstrek is built to keep up with every move you make. Get on down to 16100 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. Tell them that Big O sent you, man. Eric Stampone, all the great people out there. Brian Medina, sales manager. Thomas Umpierre, Samuel Williams. Alan does a great job. He's the general manager out there. Tell them that I sent you, man. They'll take care of you. And again, $500 off, okay, at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. So mention my name. Check out the selection. Check out the Forester. The purple WRX. They have an automatic. I'm not sure if it's still there. You're going to have to call. Call before you go because it might have been sold already. So check it out and take advantage, folks. It's crazy over there at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Good people out there, and we appreciate their support. All right. By the way, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. You can use those QR codes and you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation. And I must mention, Ray, thank you, sir. On Venmo, I appreciate it. And he says, good morning, happy Tuesday, love the trade, which I completely agree. I love the freaking trade. I thought the Dolphins made an awesome trade overall. Anyway, all right, so let's get into it. You've heard some names out there at tight end. Isaiah Likely. It's likely that will never happen because he's young, he's a stud, and Lamar needs him. So it's fun talk, but it's complete bullshit. If it happens, hey, man, miracles of God, props to, I think it was Neil that put it out there, threw it out there. But I get it. People just throw stuff out there to, just to, hey, maybe this will happen or whatever. And I'm not interested in Mark Andrews. So that one I'm not agreeing with at all. I saw Omar throw out Michael Mayer. He had 21 catches for 156 yards, 7.4 yards per reception, no touchdowns. He's a blocker. He's just a guy. He's nothing special. And I get it because they have a beast at starting with the Raiders, and it kind of makes sense in that way when you do the simple math. Okay, I get it, but there's no logic to it because he's not really that good a player. Okay, if you're going to bring somebody, here's a name that I want you to think about. His name is Foster Moreau. He had 32 catches for 413 yards and 5 touchdowns, not 0 like Michael Mayer. Now he is being paid $5 million a year. Okay? Interesting. Who walked out making $5 million a year that they just got traded? Oh, wait, it's Jonnu Smith. Oh, Jonnu, the terrible contract that Drew Rosenhaus negotiated. The one that no writer is going to say because they've got to call Drew Rosenhaus. I've never needed Drew Rosenhaus to do my fucking job in my life, and I never will. So he and every other agent in the world can kiss my ass, okay? Because I'm going to call shit like I see it. So Foster Moreau, God bless him, he overcame cancer. Is it Jonathan Johnson or Justin Johnson? Jonathan, whatever, Jay Johnson. I forgot the kid's name. He's the number 1 tight end there. Okay, in New Orleans. He caught 50 balls for 548 yards, 3 touchdowns to Foster's 5, and he gets 11 yards per catch. Foster got 12.9. They have 2 good tight ends there. Johnson's the younger one. Foster Moreau actually fits what you do here. Plus, he adds a pass catching element to the game. And God bless him, overcame cancer and everything. It's a fantastic story. Okay. Good kid, tough kid. That's the kind of guy that I would trade for if I'm the Miami Dolphins. That's the tight end that if I look around the league, fits what I do, kid's tough, can give me two-way play, can help me in making plays. Foster Moreau, 32 catches, 413 yards, 5 touchdowns, 12.9 yards per catch. He backs up the Johnson kid who had 50 catches, 548 yards, 3 touchdowns, 11 yards per catch. Foster Moreau would be the name that I would tell you, if you're a Dolphins fan, that's the guy that I would look at and say, maybe we can make a move for that kid because he's got a little something to him and he can help our offense. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay? That's all I can tell you. You guys can knock yourselves out on that one. And I'm sure a bunch of you are now goggling it, going like, what? Huh? Who? What? What name did he pull out of his ass? What? Nobody talks about Foster Moreau. I know. But that's all right. Fernandan, Firmament. Thank you for the love on the super chat. Big O, what does this trade do for Greer's legacy? His legacy doesn't do anything until he wins, my brother. None of this does anything. One thing I continue to say, and why I will not fire Chris Grier, and I like him, and I want him here. I get it. He's made mistakes. I'll point him out. I have to. Got to be stand-up about this. But he can find talent. He can make deals. You just got to tweak it a little bit here, keep the right guys, let go of the right guys, and get the right coach. That's really the problem there. You got to get that right coach. Got to get the right coach. So, that's all I would tell you. Yes, happy birthday to Bobby Bonilla. Yes. 1.1 million and all that good stuff. What else? Jake from Palatine. Why is everybody saying Miami getting a player for player is such a surprise for Ramsey? So I'm one of the few that said the contract makes a trade for a pick very difficult. Listen, what Chris Greer did was freaking magical, dude. That was a great trade out of a very difficult situation, dude. An impossible situation with Ramsey. And then, obviously, you've got an agent that wants to move the player because he screwed up. And so now you're fighting the player and the agent because the agent needs to make this good because it'll hurt him with other players because agents will use that against him. Oh, you want to sign with Drew? Well, you see what he did the last tight end? He ended up signing a deal. He got screwed with Miami. So, you want the tooth? You come here for the tooth. You're only going to get the tooth here. You're not going to get what you get in average around everywhere else, where they're going to give you what's convenient to them. If it's something that's not going to help them, even though it informs you, they will withhold that. It's kind of the way it is. They're not going to tell you the season's over like I will after the Colts game because they need to sell papers. Or they're not going to tell you they're not going anywhere this year. Just like in basketball. I told you the Heat weren't going anywhere this year, and they went nowhere. And by the way, they're not going anywhere next year. So it is what it is. But I don't know why you can't be honest with people. I don't understand that part. Edward Thurstonhouse says you brought one player back in Fitzpatrick. Now Gesicki. Gesicki's under contract, my brother. And obviously this guy already proved he can't use Gesicki. Panthers signed their backup goalie, Tarasov, 1 year, 105. Yes, sir. Let's see. What else? Raheem Mostert is full of BS. Yes, he is. Without the Dolphins and the Panthers, Raheem Mostert would be the 45th player on a roster. Okay? Raheem Mostert only has a name because he played for the Miami Dolphins. Outside of that, he was just a backup. So he made a name for himself here. And then the Panthers also helped because their success, he rode on that bandwagon too and helped him a little bit there. So he's picked up a lot of popularity because of Miami teams. I kind of think what he said, he was full of shit anyways. Because, again, I told you what the Jonnu Smith situation was. It's more agent-driven than anything else. Don't blame Greer because he made a great deal. It's Drew Rosenhaus who all of a sudden has an unhappy client because he screwed up. But, the novice in the media or the fans, they're not going to point that out. Just like the $1.5 million. Everybody says it's a raise. What'd you hear on this show? It's not a raise, dumbass. Those are expenses for moving. Dummy. It's not a raise. You want the tooth. You want to be just told exactly what's really going on here. Okay? We don't bullshit. We don't have to. Never will, never have, not what I do. Okay? So, just all of that is funny. All I keep hearing, wow, he even got a raise. No, bro, that $1.5 million is not a raise. Yeah, the neophytes think it's a raise. But if you really know the business, That's a great negotiator saying, no, wait a minute. There are expenses here. My guy has to move his family and all that, and we need money for that. Here's our compensation. Boom. So, it's just funny, probably. No doubt Greer is looking for low-hanging fruit right about now at tight end CB. It's going to be hard at tight end. You're not going to be able to get low-hanging fruit. You know what I mean? And Moreau, it's not like they're not just going to give him away either. He's a decent tight end. He can play. And by the way, what's his age? I didn't even check his age. I don't think he's that old either, if I remember correctly. I don't, not having Sean here kind of affects me. 28. And he just turned 28, May 6th. So there you go. Jesuit High School in New Orleans. That's who I would make a move for. Foster Moreau, if I can do that. Let's see. I don't know who you're talking about, but I will go with you, Big O. Well, I mean, I'm not saying that he will for sure be acquired, but New Orleans can trade him and keep Johnson, and they'll be all right. So it's kind of, I mean, Johnson was like their number one receiver last year. The other tight end was the number one receiver. Let's see. What else do we have? Jeff in Long Island. Today's my 24th wedding anniversary with Sharon. Wow. Jeff and Sharon, congratulations, man. It's freaking awesome, dude. 24. About to hit the big 25. Damn. Jeff, you got to make 25 special, dude. All right? You better make 25 special. Start planning now. Okay? I'm telling you. I made 25 super special for my wife. So you got to make 25 special, dude. Congratulations. That is awesome, dude. Awesome. People don't stay together, man. They just don't. Darren Waller to the Dolphins. Crazy ass Darren Waller. Yeah, no, he's rapping right now. He's more interested in a rap career. Big O, it takes a realist fan to appreciate your honesty and candor regarding the Dolphins. Too bad most fans are pessimists with unrealistic expectations. Yes. Yeah, I don't clash well with those fanatical fans that just want to hear, good shit and all that. When it's good, I'll tell you it's good. And when it's bad, I'll tell you it's bad. And I'm sorry, but that's just kind of the way it goes. What can I do? Waller to Miami, Rappaport. Is that true? Oh my God. We gave nothing then. So they went with, who said low-hanging fruit? They went with complete low-hanging fruit. Surprise. The Dolphins are finalizing a trade with the Giants for former Pro Bowl tight end Darren Waller, who's coming out of retirement to play in Miami per sources. This is like a 7th-round pick. A fascinating twist for Waller, who retired last summer, and a new weapon for Miami. I don't have a lot of hope. I know he has a lot of physical ability, pero está loco. Both oars aren't in the water. The elevator doesn't go to the top floor. He's a few sandwiches short of a picnic. Sorry. I know what they did here. They took. Okay. If you acquire Foster Moreau, you're making an investment. What have I told you the theme is on Mike McDaniel? We are making no more investments in you. Darren Waller is no investment. You gave up a 7th rounder. That's nothing. The compensation hasn't come out, but I don't need to know what is it, conditional? 7th rounder, if he plays a certain amount of plays, it becomes a 6 or some shit like that. This is, yeah, they went with total low hanging fruit here. And let me tell you what I think is going on now. Now, you know me, I can kind of like decipher a lot of this shit right away. They like Julian Hill. They like Tanner Connor. So they can get a guy that they didn't spend any money. They're not going to spend any picks for him. They're going to give away shit for him. So if he works out, great, helps us out. If it doesn't, we lose nothing. It's genius. It's total genius here. But it also is, hey, Mike, here you go. Here's a screw up. You can try to work with him if you want. But we're not going to invest money because you're a screw up. Which is, this continues to be. Have I not told you that this has been the whole theme of the whole offseason? Spend as little as possible in Mike McDaniel from here on out. He's on his own. That's what they've done. The only thing they did was they protected Tua. They went and got the guards, not his kind of guards. Chris Greer went and got the right guards. He got big physical guards, right? He didn't get like half-ass guards because that's what Mike McDaniel likes. He doesn't care about guards. He doesn't they put value on the guards finally. And then they went and got Madison, a big back, something he doesn't use. He will now. And they went and drafted a big back. I'm telling you what's going on here. Message has been sent. So you really aren't investing in Mike McDaniel because, bro, you're bringing a head case in. You're bringing something that there's no compensation for this shit. Nothing. The Giants lost the guy. So you're going to get a 7th or a 6th rounder for nothing because he was gone. And I know he had talent and he played well early in his career and all that, but yeah, this guy's not mature enough. And by the way, we don't have the kind of locker room or anything that can mold this man. So this is a get by piece for nothing, for absolutely nothing. So why would Greer strike out on this one? This is a can't lose deal. You're paying nothing for the guy. This is a no risk, all reward type deal. If he doesn't work out, you get rid of him and you paid barely any compensation. And if it works out, you got him for barely any compensation. I don't think you're reading this right. This is a good deal for them. Now, for Mike McDaniel, it's not a great deal. It's not because you got a head case. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be really hard to actually. Here we go. Dolphins are trading a conditional 2025 6th rounder to the Giants for a 2027 7th rounder and Darren Waller. So the Dolphins are trading a conditional 6th rounder to the Giants for a 2027 7th rounder and Darren Waller. So if he makes the team, the swap happens. If he doesn't make the team, the swap doesn't happen. Genius. Freaking genius. Rosendo, you want to erase that now? You want to erase that? Would you like to erase that? Would you like to erase that? Just wondering. It's conditional. The swap is, he didn't even trade a pick. He traded a conditional swap. He didn't trade a pick. He traded a conditional swap. He's fucking ruthless. Chris Greer is fucking ruthless. Ruthless. Now, do I think McDaniel will get anything out of him? Probably not, because, but you lose nothing. Nothing. And if the idiot wants to actually play ball, he's got talent, but he's an idiot. So we'll see. This is a guy that quit football thinking he's a rapper. As we say in Spanish, tiene un mojón en la cabeza. That's what we say in Spanish. His head is full of shit. But again, it's a great move, dude. It's a great move. Don't listen to Rosendo. He's wrong. Couldn't be more wrong. Okay. Now, don't expect much. Oh, the Bucks are waving Damian Lillard. There you go. Oh, God, Pat Riley. He'll sign him to bring him in at the end, injured and all screwed up. Official tracker says, can you confirm that the Dolphins traded for tight end Darren Waller? I don't need to confirm shit, bro. Adam Schefter and these guys are reporting it. They know that they get those stories way before I do. So, but what I love is they gave up they gave up a conditional swap. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Didn't I tell you? I thought, okay, this is like a 7th rounder. If he makes a team and plays well, it becomes a 6th round. No, it's not even that. It's a conditional swap. Chris Greer is ruthless, bro. Ruthless. Hey, what are you guys doing with Darren Waller? I heard he's rapping out there or whatever. You want to move him? Oh, yeah. Well, give us a 5th rounder. Nah. We'll give you a conditional swap. If he makes the team, we'll swap a 6th for a 7th. How about that? Well, we'll think about it. All right. You can stay with his crazy ass. We'll talk to you later. Ring. Hey, we're the Giants and we're kind of stupid. We'll do that now. Yeah. So that's what happened. That's all. Genius move, dude. I don't think it'll pay off much, but there's no risk. There's zero risk. And if it pays off, freaking awesome. Awesome. What they did yesterday and what they did today, how you made a terrible situation yesterday into a terrific situation overall for your team and the future. And then you got a situation where you needed a body and you went and found a real talented person at no risk whatsoever. So if the unfortunate part of him not mature enough to handle it, you get rid of him. No pick swap. You're free from everything. The guy balls for you, or he plays well at least, and all it's going to cost you is a pick swap for a 6 or 7 from a 6th to 7th. I know I can't defend Chris Greer for most of you out there. I get that, but I think the guy's good, bro. I think the guy's really good. I think we just got to kind of tweak a couple things, but Waller was addicted to opioids at 15. Welcome to Miami. Yeah. Oh, what's wrong with quitting your job to become a rapper? I just quit my job last month to become a white rapper and now live in my sister's garage. That's awesome. I mean, that's pure talent right there when you can do it right from your sister's garage. Waller is coming out of retirement after agreeing to a 1-year deal with the Dolphins worth up to $5 million per Drew Rosenhaus and Robert Bailey. Yeah, a bunch of incentives where he'll never reach. Yeah, whatever. It's a minimum deal, and then the agents will pump up. There's a $5 million in incentives that he'll never see. Tony says, I like the move. Waller is a baller when he wants to be. Well, he can be a baller. Tony is right about that. He can be a baller. He has talent. Like, he has a gift. If he wants to play, they got themselves they gave nothing, dude. Wow. That is a great move. It's a great move. True Fin Fan says, I like Rosendo. Seems like a good person, but he's been a Fire Greer guy for a long time. Well, but True Fin Fan, dude, most people are Fire Greer people. Very few people are on Greer's side like myself. Very few. Okay? Very few are still with him because he's made some mistakes. I get it. Look, man, we're at a point where I can argue with you on the Tua thing. I'm not going to do it on the Greer thing because overall the success is not there. So I can't defend that. But I like him. I do. I think he's really good. It's just kind of got to be tweaked a little bit. And if we could keep the right people and let go of the right people and find the right coach, I think everything would be fine. I really do. And maybe he just learned his lesson with this offseason, like, screw the coach. Okay, coach, what do you need? Okay, great. Now shut up and I'll go get the players. I'll tell you what the players you need. You know what I mean? And that's what I think happened this offseason. And I think that's finally something that he needed to do. So, Man of 1,005 Holes says, just listen to Waller, no mas. He sounds like this era of a generic rapper. No thanks. Wow, 2 teams in South Florida are making moves except the one team in 601 Biscayne Boulevard. But, dude, you know what's going on there, Tony. We talked about it here. They're lost. They refuse to do what you're supposed to do in this case. Okay? You got to have the balls to reset this. You have to have the balls to look in the mirror, and that's what Pat Riley doesn't have right now. He doesn't have the balls to look in the mirror and say, yeah, dude, I've given Tyler and Bam way too much already. It's done. These guys aren't the answer. We need to move on. So whatever we can get. And I saw this guy, Buddha or whatever, the guy from the LA, he says that they're asking for like a high pick for Wiggins. Whatever, man. It just, if you're asking too much for Wiggins, come on, man. Just get what you can, unload these guys, get some picks, and reset the team, dude. They're lost. By the way, let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Always love talking about the man, the myth, the legend. That is Alan Blanco, 786-618-1443. Miami Dolphins just made a move and made a trade with the New York Giants for tight end Darren Waller. The Dolphins also yesterday traded Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith, along with a 7th rounder to the Steelers for Minkah Fitzpatrick and a 5th round pick. The Dolphins also gave $3 million in salary to help for the Jalen Ramsey move, while the Steelers ponied up $1.5 million to Jalen Ramsey in the move. The Panthers, they completed the trifecta by signing Aaron Ekblad to an 8-year, $6.1 million deal per year, and Brad Marchand to a 6-year, $32 million deal, keeping all 3 big free agents together. And this team now has a chance to make a run. They had it anyways without those guys to try to win 3 in a row. By the way, defenseman Thomas Nosek also re-signed with the Panthers for $775,000. Nate Schmidt will not re-sign. He will hit free agency. Saturday, Inter Miami gets back to MLS play. They will visit Montreal at 7:30. And at 7 o'clock on Saturday at Pitbull Stadium, Miami FC will host Tulsa. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. Call my guy, Alan Blanco, 786-618-1443. All right. What else? hope Waller has kept his sobriety, but he's sure stepping into the fire down there with your crazy drug addicts. Well, what are you going to do? You know, I get it, man. But I understand the move. I mean, it's worth it. Well worth it. He's not going to make any money unless he actually performs, which is beautiful. Okay. And you're not going to give any compensation again unless he performs, which is beautiful. I love it. Greer said, hold my beer this offseason. The draft, free agency, and now June has been all Greer. He's showing out. He has had a great offseason. I love the offseason that he's had. Just got to get rid of the damn coach. Marlins, bro. Yeah. Do you guys ever talk about them when they're normally losing games? Marlins, bro. Losing season. Talk to me when they're constantly winning and they're keeping their players. When they develop stars and they keep them, then you can call me. Outside of that, the Marlins can go themselves. Let's see. Dude had 500 yards in a crappy Giants offense last year. He didn't play last year, did he? Didn't Darren Waller leave him last year? Did he play last year finally? Or was it the year before that he had the 500 yards? It's an interesting one. I thought he didn't play last year. Did he end up playing last year, or was he talking about the year before? I thought he left to be a rapper last year. Let me see. I might be wrong on that. His crazy ass might have left during the season, which actually might make the stats look even better if his crazy ass left during the season. Let's see. Here we go. Wait a minute. Did I put the right guy? Yeah. No, he played in 23, doggy. That's when he had 500 yards in 23. He didn't play in 24. Yeah. He only had one touchdown. Yeah. So, just out of curiosity, 2 years ago, Darren Waller, 52 receptions, 552 yards, one touchdown, 10.6 yards per catch. Foster Moreau, 32 catches, 413 yards, 5 touchdowns, 12.9 yards per catch. In fact, Darren Waller, when the last time he actually played well was back in 2020 when he had 1,196 yards and 9 touchdowns. And then he had 1,145 the year before that and 3 touchdowns. The 3 years after that, it was 665 and 2 touchdowns, 388 and 3 touchdowns, 552, 1 touchdown. So Darren Waller is living off of 2 seasons. So you're hoping he can capture the magic of those 2 seasons. And it's really hard. You know what I'm saying? I look, man, I get it. You're Dolphin fans. And so you try to spin shit in your head and try to make it more than what it really is, but try not to do that in this case. This is a very unreliable human being. Incredibly unreliable. So don't count on it. And don't be disappointed if he's a failure. Because, let's be honest, Darren Waller should fail. He's not with a great coach. He's been out of football. He was declining as it is. So it's hard to say, oh my God, all of a sudden he's going to become an 800-900 yard receiving tight end again. And when he was only that twice. So just, you want the tooth or you want the tooth? If you want to be lied to, there's a lot of those people out there that'll lie to you, dude. No problem. Let's see. What else do we have? Have the Dolphins signed a retired player before and that player has had success with the team? If yes, who? Lifford Hobley, because he wasn't playing football and then he became a scab and then he became a Dolphin. Damn, that's a good one. Retired and you brought him back and he had success. There's got to be somebody that I'm overlooking in Dolphin history. I'm trying to go through the computer right now if I remember somebody that was like out of football and then they brought him back and he played well. Mushbrain didn't play well for us. Did he? I don't think so. And was he out of football? I don't think that's correct, dude. I don't think that's right. And plus, I think Mushbrain was not a good pickup for us. I'm pretty sure you're wrong about Mushbrain. Hold on. Let's see. Miami. Yeah, he was 0 for 5. He threw 987 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Yeah, and he had played the year before. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're talking about with Mushbrain. Let's see. What else do we have? Didn't Ricky Williams retire? No, we got Ricky Williams from Canada, is what it was, right? Or some shit like that. Yeah. No, first we traded him, then he retired, then came back after retirement, right? And that's what it was. Ricky retired after to smoke weed and then came back. It actually is Ricky, because Ricky actually played all right when he came back. He wasn't Ricky Williams. You are correct. I think that was the one. That might be the only one that might have done that in Dolphin history. Oh, wait a minute. I spelled it wrong, I guess. I spelled the wrong Ricky. Don't you hate when you spell the wrong Ricky? I should have just put Ricky Stoner, and then it probably would have come out. Let's see. Let's go. He retired after the 09 season, 1,100 yards, and then he came back and rushed for 600 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 point, whatever. Nah, I'm not giving it to Ricky Williams. When we, in the moment, you look at it, but you come back to rush for 600 yards and 2 touchdowns, that ain't shit, bro. That ain't shit. No, Ricky Williams ain't it. Ricky Williams didn't do it, bro. Sorry. Yeah. Yep. So you can forget about that. Anyway. Yeah. So don't expect much out of Darren Waller. But again, this kind of goes with, we're not investing in you, Mike McDaniel. We're going to do as little as possible because you're a schmuck and you're going to have to get by with whatever you can, dude. That's what that says to me. And I've been telling you this, that was the theme the whole year, the whole offseason. The whole offseason, I've told you this has been the theme, and this move proves that that's the theme. Because if you're going to invest in that position, I would have gone Foster Moreau. Okay. Now, I don't even know if he's available, too. I might be talking a little shit here on that end. All right, let's go with musicians celebrating birthdays today. Adam McDougall, keyboardist with the Black Crowes. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let's start over here. Let me do this the right way. Because again, I where the hell does he have it, huh? Where does he have it? All right, we start off with birthdays today. Adam McDougall, the Black Crowes, born in 1971. Missy Elliott, born in 1971, rapper, singer, songwriter, record producer, sold over 40 million records. Happy birthday to her. Roddy Bottom, keyboardist with Faith No More, born in 1963. Evelyn Champagne King. Awesome. Born in 1960. Let's see who else is celebrating birthday. Phil Solem, singer-songwriter with the duo The Rembrandts. Dan Aykroyd, American actor, singer, Elwood Blues, of course, born in 52. Fred Schneider, legend, baby, singer with the B-52s, born in 1951. Let's see who else is celebrating a birthday. Deborah Harry from Blondie, born in 1945. And that is it for musicians born on this date. Let's go with other famous people born on this date. Remember, if we don't give the age, that means they are no longer with us. All right. Executive Estee Lauder, born in 1906. Leslie Caron, actor, born in 1931. She is still with us, 94. Filmmaker Sidney Pollack, born in 1934. Actor Jamie Farr, still with us, from MASH, born in 1934. He's 91 today. Wow. Good for him, and he's made it to 91. God bless you, dude. Wow. Victor Willis from The Village People, born in 51. He's 74. Actor Alan Ruck, born in 56. He's 69. Ferris Bueller, by the way. He's the goofy friend with the Ferrari. Princess Di, born in the state in 61. Track and Field Hall of Famer Carl Lewis, born in 61. He is 64, and he can't pitch. Pamela Anderson, she's 67, born in 67. She's 58. Really, I'm really like proud of her. How she's gone with this whole thing without makeup and looking natural and all that. I think it's really cool, by the way. I actually think it's actually really, really cool. Good for her, man. Liv Tyler, actor, born in 77. She's 48. I would tell you wrestlers, but unfortunately, Sean didn't leave me the wrestlers. So, no wrestlers today, but we will go with music history now. Let's go with music history and what happened today in music history. Elvis Presley, by the way, appeared on NBC TV's The Steve Allen Show and performed Hound Dog to a live Hound Dog in 56 on this date. In 79 on this date, the Sony Walkman debuts in Japan, making music portable. In 83, Wham released their debut album, Fantastic. It featured Young Guns, Wham Rap, Bad Boys, and Club Tropicana. In 97 on this date, Limp Bizkit released their debut solo album, $3 Bill, Y'all. It featured Faith. In 2004, Glenn Campbell began serving 10 nights in jail along with 2 years of probation for a November 2003 drinking and driving hit-and-run collision. He was also sentenced to 75 hours of community service and was fined $900. The Rhinestone Cowboy. Getting cards and letters from people he doesn't even know. And offers coming over on the phone. What else do we have? In 2009, the week after Michael Jackson's death, the King of Pop dominated the top 10 Billboard album chart. Collectively, Jackson's solo albums sold 415,000 copies for the week, 58% of which were digital downloads. The week before his death, Jackson's title sold a combined 10,000 units. A bunch of fair-weathered folks out there. The hell is wrong with you people? Let's see. One more for you. Boston guitarist Tom Schultz was ordered to pay $132,000 in court fees to the Boston Herald after he unsuccessfully sued the papers. The Herald had suggested that Schultz was responsible for the 2007 suicide of Boston lead singer Brad Delp, but a Superior Court judge ruled that the paper could not be held for liable for defaming Schultz, which is so wrong to do that. But Brad Delp had his own demons. What a singer. What a singer. That is what happened today in music history. Don't forget, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation. 305 Sports, thank you for the love on the super chat. He says, Panthers have built a great culture. Not every team can get guys to stay just because they are winning. Money still talks. Great job by Viola and Zito. Actually, money's not talking here. You need to go back and listen to the beginning of the show. And I explain why Bill Zito is better than Don Shula and Pat Riley. Don Shula and Pat Riley can't do what Bill Zito's doing. Couldn't do what Bill Zito's doing. Shula couldn't. Pat can't. And I'll go out on a limb and say he never will. Okay? Frankie says, is Waller an upgrade from Connor and Hill? Of course, because he's actually been successful in the league, dude. I just told you he had almost a 1,200-yard season. You know? He had 2 seasons that were most tight ends never have them in their careers. So, yeah, he's an upgrade in that sense. But Julian Hill can be your starter if he puts his head in the game because he's got all the ability, dude. All the ability. I'm all in with the front office on the abilities of Julian Hill. Problem is, you got to get the discipline out of him. That's what's going to that's what's going to make Julian Hill a player. Okay. Let's see. Damn, he's still alive. Thought he was 70 when I saw him with the 52s. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. A cowboy, a rhinestone cowboy reference. I love that song. It's a great song. What's that other one that he has? Oh man. I'm gonna cheat. There's another one that he has that's very popular. Southern Nights. All those Southern Nights. Oh, I love that song. That's a great song, actually. Southern Nights. Wichita Lineman is also a good one, but Southern Nights. Actually, Southern Nights might be my favorite song of Glenn Campbell. The funny part is the Rhinestone Cowboy video. Okay, because it's shot, what is it, early 70s or something, Rhinestone Cowboy. You got to go see you got to see the video. It's just him like on a white horse, and he's just like on this little rodeo like stable. There's no people around or nothing. It's just him going back and forth on the horse. Like you would figure it would have like, you know, nowadays it would be much more elaborate or something like that, you know? No, it's kind of really freaking, it's a really freaking lame video, actually. If you ever want to catch a little bit more about Glenn Campbell and his history, you guys need to watch the documentary, The Wrecking Crew. Because if you listen to the Monkees, Glenn Campbell is part of the people writing the music for the Monkees. And if the Archies, sugar, sugar, na na na, dun, dun, dun. Well, Glenn Campbell is part of the Wrecking Crew that is writing because that sugar was meant for the monkeys, but then the monkeys got into a fight with Don Kushner, and Don Kushner said, "I made you, get out of here." And so then he kept making music, and part of the Wrecking Crew, Glenn Campbell was in there. Leon Russell was in the Wrecking Crew. There's like some legendary names in the Wrecking Crew, people that went on to have their own stardom, and they were making music for others. They were hired by Don Kirshner, and it was a group of individuals that were known for helping hundreds of artists make hits. The Wrecking Crew. Watch that documentary. That is one awesome music documentary. It's like, it'll blow you away, dude. Blow you away. What else do we have? Glenn Campbell, By the Time I Get to Phoenix. Nice. Yo, Big O, would you rather have Aerosmith Crazy video, Liv Tyler, or Alicia Silverstone? Wow, that's a tough one. I'm gonna lean slightly to Silverstone. Actually, face-wise, I like Liv. Body-wise, I like Silverstone over Liv. So I'll go Silverstone because looks and body. So yeah, that's where I'll lean if I gotta make a choice. You know what I'm saying? You got to make choices in life. Yes, they were studio musicians. That's what the Wrecking Crew is, a group of studio musicians, but a lot of them, just like Toto, that they were studio musicians, and then they went to create Toto and went on to obviously do everything that they've done in their history. But yeah, they started off as the Porcaro brothers. You know, the three brothers were like geniuses. They were helping everybody make music. So yes, exactly like that. So some of the people in the Wrecking Crew, like Leon Russell, like Glenn Campbell, there's a couple of others that I'm forgetting that were part of the Wrecking Crew that you're going to go, holy shit, they were writing music for other people. It's a really good documentary. Check it out. You'll see it on YouTube and other places. It's called The Wrecking Crew. It will blow you away, dude. Great documentary. I should watch it again. I haven't watched it in a few years. Frankie says, question. I don't recall ex-Dolphin players talking bad about the Dolphins in the early 90s or 2000s when they moved on from the team. But with this team, we have a shitload. Oh, Frankie, what have I told you, bro? What have I told you? That coach. They just don't blow them out right now because it'll make them look just absolutely horrible. So we've got to go through this charade. And so he's got to go through the failure of the season, and then we can move on with Weaver. So, you know what I'm saying? Glenn Campbell wrote the lyrics and jingles for Campbell's soup commercials. You're asking me? I have no idea. I don't think so. But I have no idea. None whatsoever. My guess will be that no, he did not. That's just, a coinkydink that you're bringing up. That's all I'm going to say about that. I don't think there's any truth to it. All righty, folks. We are out of here. We appreciate you all out there. Don't forget, folks, we are trying to go to Spain. So if you can help us, Cash App or Venmo, make a donation. We appreciate it immensely, of course. Keeps the show afloat. And, of course, visit our amazing sponsors, Murias Dental. If you're looking for dental services, go visit the family there. They do great work. Our entire family goes there. My daughter, my wife, me, my mother-in-law, everybody goes there, dude. Of course, R&M Contractors. Ray does amazing work. So if you're in Dayton, Broward, home or condo, call my guy Ray. They'll take care of you. Toyota of Hollywood, of course. 1841 North State Road 7. Go see Herbie Lopez, all the great people out there. Subaru of Pembroke Pines, 16100 Pines Boulevard. Alan is the general manager there. He does excellent work. So if you're looking for a Subaru, mention my name. You'll get $500 off. Also, Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard. Larry Schlossberg and Pat Nasto out there, man. Great people. Tell them that Big O sent you. They'll take care of you, man. And Mike Chan, Jordan Ferber run that service center, and they do great work out there, man. So please support the amazing sponsors that support us. We shall see you all tomorrow, same time, same place, same bat channel.